am your host, Deter McBizness, joined as always by the one and only Alex Haha of DAP, Devil's Advocate Productions.
What's going on?
And how are you? How are things back east? I heard you guys got some shit weather. You got some storms going on or something?
Yeah, yeah. It rained like a motherfucker this weekend, especially on Saturday. But and then
Yeah, well,
off and
that's what you
on
get. That's what you fucking get. God pissed on you for
for living in
being
the best city,
pushy New Yorkers, thinking that you're better than everybody,
best
and
city
you
on the
just
planet.
you needed to be humbled. See, listen to you. You're begging for it. You're
Is that
fucking
it?
begging for it, you arrogant prick.
Yeah, we have the heat wave. We have rain. It's coming. It's coming for us. We had the blizzard earlier this year. Yeah,
Um,
how's it going, brother?
Good. It's good. It's a little bit boring now that the World Cup is over. So sorry, I've been out of touch, everybody. I've been in and out, wrestling with a lot of different projects, as well as trying to watch as much soccer as possible, which I did. And because it only happens every 4 years. I mean, I've realized I like the World Cup more than the Olympics, way more.
I
Euro
couldn't
Cup's fun
follow
too.
anything. I'm not a sports guy. We all know this, but at least when it came to the Knicks, I was like, okay, there's this many games left. It's this many out of this many.
Right,
3 out of
right.
7 or whatever, 4 out of 7.
Yeah, there were just so many teams and so many
Yeah,
games in
I
the
can
tournament.
figure it out at the
There
end.
was four. There was four games. There was like 4 to 8 games a day for the first
That's crazy.
15 days.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, yeah. There was a lot of games going on. So
Isn't
it's
baseball
understandable.
start soon? You got baseball.
The baseball classic or whatever you're talking about.
Man,
Is that what you're talking
MLB.
about? No, well that's
I don't know
going on
when
right
baseball
now.
starts. I
Yeah,
always feel it
opening
starts.
dude. Oh, dude, yeah, opening day is like April.
Oh,
Opening
okay.
day, no, baseball goes 6 months.
Okay.
Everything roughly goes 6 months.
Interesting. Good to know.
Yeah.
You might be
Yeah.
glad to know I joined DSA finally.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Welcome to the party, man.
Yeah, man.
Welcome.
Well, because last Thursday we launched our new panel show on Thursdays, the Space Station. I don't know if you're aware, but if you have free time tomorrow around it's 5 p.m. Eastern, so it would
2
be
p.m. 2
yeah,
p.m. Pacific. Yeah, I can maybe
yeah.
do that. Yeah, I'm
So
on that. I'm on that chat. I'm on that chat.
yeah. So
Okay.
last
just
week
come
we
on here?
had last week we introduced a possible new host if he feels like being a host on this space. But he said, hey, we'll test out the panel show, see how that goes. One more week, so he'll be back tomorrow. He was the one. He sent me a dues waiver for the DSA, and I was like, oh, I didn't know this was a thing where I don't have to pay a monthly fee every month because I
Right.
don't have the fucking money for that. So now, yes, I am part of the DSA, and when my finances are in a better place, you'll be getting dues from me.
So are you part? How does it work in New York? Because it's such a dense area. Is there like a Manhattan chapter, or is there like a New York chapter that is in the Bronx? Or have you been to a meeting yet? Or you just joined?
I have not. I mean, I'm looking up calendar events. I'm looking
So
for
this would
things to
be
like go
okay.
meet
So
people.
I mean, do what you want, but just as knowing content, knowing what people are into, people are really curious about the DSA. If you started to go to meetings and did just New York and like, yo, this is an inside look at New York, and obviously be careful about everything that you share. But if you started to do kind of an inside exploration, I think that'd be a great source of content for you.
Yeah, and they'll just be. I'm this for like education. Like I did it
Right.
just so I could watch. There was a phone call, like a Zoom call that was
the labor thing?
Corey Bush and Chris Rabb talking about the history of Black radicalism
Okay.
on Sunday, and it was really interesting and educational. Just listen to their stories and how none of this like new socialist DSA thing. It's not new.
It's not new. MLK was a socialist.
Yeah, it all comes from the straw. Exactly. Talking about that. Talking about the
Nobody
erasure.
knows that, dude. Nobody, so few, like very few
Yeah,
people.
the
Even
erasure of that
black
history.
or white, dude. Black or white. There's a lot of people that don't know MLK was a fucking socialist.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
And
know
then
about X. I don't know what X was. I don't know if he had a label. A
yeah,
revolutionary, really.
yeah. But the meeting I was at, there was another Zoom call before, like 2 weeks before that. That was hosted by Emma Vigeland, Majority Report, but it was
Right,
kind
the
of
labor thing.
it was this workers deserve more
Yeah.
platform. And we talked about this. We kind of went through it last week on the space station on Thursday. And I'm like, yeah, this is what I thought society was run like when I was a kid. I thought, of course, you would have this. This is the only reason a government should exist, is to be safety net for the people, is to help, ignorant child me. But this platform is actually something that I think we should strive for, and that this is the American dream. So,
We'll bring it back up real quick.
yeah, let's go through.
Because this is there's an expression in storytelling. The generality is the death of art. I think maybe I've quoted that before, but it implies that specificity is the key to storytelling, or the key to any kind of communication experience.
Mm-hmm.
And the nice thing is that they're being specific here with what we're doing. Like, this is the pieces of the puzzle, so to speak. And it's not a lot. Like, it's not it's not overwhelming. And a lot
it's
of
all
it's
very
starting
basic
points too. A lot of it's starting points for larger, more detailed conversation about what things look like. For example, the Green New Deal, as I'm sure people have heard me say before, I love the spirit of the Green New Deal, but the actual inside portfolio of projects is not necessarily what you think they are. And by that I mean the way that the money works behind them. A lot of them would end up becoming privately owned energy facilities.
Right.
And that's not what we want. We want publicly owned energy facilities.
Right.
So.
But yeah, all this stuff, like this.
Other than that,
it's just
great.
like you've been pushing me for a year, man. And it's about time.
Well, I'm glad you got it, because Pep Talks bailed. Pep Talks went the other way.
What? He's like, I'm not joining.
Dropped out. He dropped out of the DSA.
Oh, did he?
He wasn't happy with a bunch of shit. I don't want to misquote him, but I imagine maybe that Kat Abagazela race had something to do with it. I think he might have been a little pissed off about that. But don't take my word for it that
That's fine.
He has comprehensive reasons for why he does and does not do things. So there's probably a lot more to it than that. But I do know that he left his chapter of the DSA, which is fine.
Look, like I'm interested in going to meetings and seeing what this is about. Like you said, it could be a source of content. It could just be like educational for me. I'll come report about, what happened and what it was like. I might get to the point where I'm like, I don't fucking want to do this. I'll do like the Zoom calls. I'll pay you $15 a month.
But you're never going to get bored with a chapter like New York, dude. With a chapter like New York, you're never going to get bored if you don't want to. There's always going to be someone else that you can talk to in that chapter.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting. That's going to have an interesting perspective. That's going to have experience. That's the kind of the coolest thing for me, because I never did activism like in college or anything like that. Yeah. And so hearing a lot of these veteran activists and the shit that they've been through, it's like, yeah, wow, okay, this is the down and dirty of getting change in America.
Yeah, and it's like it's boring, and like
some of it is,
it's boring, and I think that's where it turns a lot of people off. I think right now it's exciting. Oh shit, there's this insurgent movement, but
I would say, what does that say about to you though? About like the cutting point, as they say in marketing. The cutting point for the DSA establishing a relationship with someone like you, or even someone less politically inclined. What does that say that it's like getting hot now and that people are interested in going?
I think a lot of it has to do with, look, it is the New York factor. You might shit on it. You might be mad that we're the greatest city, but we're the greatest fucking city.
I fucking love New York. I just hate
it's the New York of it all. It's honestly, I think to my interview with Danielle Welch a lot. She ran here in New York against Tom Suozzi, and she said one of the reasons why she chose to run herself was no one else was doing it, and she felt a sense of urgency. She has a small child. And I spoke with just yesterday actually in the morning, pre-recorded an interview with socialist Adri, who clips Hassan from Canada. She lives in Canada. She has enough fucking support from the public services that they have in Canada to be a single mom and go to school and have the time to watch Hassan streams pretty much every single day and clip out full segments and post those on Twitter. She's taken it upon herself to do this because she's tired of seeing him being taken out of context. Danielle Welch chose to run herself because she was tired of seeing Swazi run opposed every goddamn cycle and no one stepping up. So she didn't win, but she carved out she mobilized people. She made people go, oh shit, this energy of like knocking on doors, talking to the community. I did a little bit of that with Lindsey Boylan's campaign, and it's infectious. It's infectious, and you want to keep going. When the campaign's over, you're like, well, who do I talk to? I still have these working families parties, the DSA parties.
There. The campaign, it's the electoralism is DSA's sexiest attribute. It's the best cut-in point. It's like because it's what people associate with power, and it's like who got the power, who's going to have the power, who should we, and basically, in the expectation is who are we going to blame when things go wrong,
and who's been fighting all this time. Like, because they're only just starting to really win elections. Yeah, there was AOC, there was some other people around the country, but like,
no, the wave is building.
Now
man.
it's
There's going to be a huge wave. There's going to be an even bigger wave in 2028. Everybody and the mother is going to run.
Yeah,
in 2028.
And so I want to
at least if you're associated with the DSA at that point, I think you're going to have a lot of credibility. It's going to be a good shortcut. I mean, ultimately, that's what you want the DSA to be. You want it to be a brand where people are like, oh, that person's endorsed by the DSA. Well, fucking A, I'm going to learn. I want to either learn more about them or that's enough for me. I'm voting for them. That's what you want the DSA to be.
Yeah. And, you know, I want to kind of, this isn't, I'm impatient. This is urgent. I want a future for me and my family. I want future for my community and people around me. I want the fascists to fucking go to jail. I don't know.
So I would say
some kind of justice.
I would say, you know, as you grow with this relationship with your local DSA chapter, if you want to become more involved, the working groups are really the best way to do that. Whether it's labor or they might even have a media working group in DSA New York because it's so big. I've never heard of that. But I wouldn't be surprised if they have something related to content creation. If not, you should fucking start one and have like the DSA New York, you know, YouTube channel or whatever, like interviews in New York, like all over the 5 boroughs. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm just always trying to think of like,
dude.
How can you make people feel like what it's like to be there, right?
Dude,
that's my goal.
Just seeing like some of these people be invited on like Fox News, MSNBC, CNN now. I'm like, your idea months ago of like, hey, let's start a fucking YouTube channel. Let's do something with the YouTube channel you already have.
With the Emma's stuff is starting to be like what I was kind of calling for.
Well, then,
it's a little too specific. There should be I should be able to go on to DSA YouTube channel and find right away the video that explains what the hell the DSA is.
Yeah.
Their pinned video in the video section should be what is the DSA or who is the DSA, something like that. And it should be, and this is the thing, they don't want to have centralized.
That's the problem. You and I are directors, and that's, you know, those are directors.
Well, we want to make decisions.
A film set is inherently like authoritarian. I'm in charge. We're making choices. What's going on?
Right. And that's where the DSA needs to learn about delegation, and they are, and I don't blame them for doing, you know, Emma first. I think that's a really good choice. I actually met her. I think I told you I met her at the DSA convention a year ago. Yeah, a year ago. I think the next one they're having. It's not a convention. It's a summit this year. It's in a week, but it's a summit, and I don't know why. I don't know. They're not voting on stuff, but we should talk about the DSA's new proposals of, they aspire to abolish the Senate, which I agree with.
Mhm.
They seek to abolish the Supreme Court, or at least replace it,
Mhm.
which sounds good to me, given how or at least pack the court would be my solution. But I'm open. I'm open to considering whatever they're proposing. And then this is the one that's tough for me though, is the abolition of the presidency, and that's the one I really struggle with, because
Well,
for national security
yeah.
reasons, I think that's problematic. I also think it's I think you do need an ultimate, or not necessarily an ultimate decision maker, but someone who is driving, an individual that is driving the decision making process.
I think
You
you
know
could
what I
have a
mean?
small committee. Look, all these things, the abolishing the Senate, Supreme
That's
Court,
feasible.
presidency. I'm like, dude, I don't even see that happening in my lifetime.
Right,
Maybe that's my
exactly.
imagination, and we just haven't
Senate
seen
maybe.
that possibility. Fine, I don't care. That's not what I'm focused on. I'm focused on
I know.
motherfucking housing for
Potholes,
all,
yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
healthcare,
Yeah.
anti-racism.
FDR's
Like,
second Bill of Rights plus
yeah,
racism and
like
immigration.
anti-racism, because
Dude, I
that's
ran into
really
somebody
like the
today
crux of everything.
that who's like he's not, he says he's not MAGA, but man does he talk like MAGA. And he's an old friend of mine from film school, and he is saying how Israel is the light in Arab
Oh, you
in the world,
fey.
in the Arab world, and the Middle East. And I'm like, wow, man, like what are you smoking here? Like, do you understand anything about what he's just got the opposite views on me on everything, man.
Yeah.
Everything. He's all about capitalism. He thinks capitalism is the best system ever. Um,
I mean,
and
I
it
have a
just
friend like
sucks.
that. He works at a crypto hedge fund. So I get it. Like, he's
Yeah.
like, oh, he's mad that AOC blocked the Amazon headquarters because he was like, oh, well, New York is going to be multimodal and have like different, how there's a Soho? We're going to have different Sohos all over the city. And I'm like, but what about the people who live there? And he goes, people's attachments to where they grew up is ridiculous and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, it's not even about that. It's like, you should first be able to choose if you want to move. Two,
Right.
you need the money to move.
Right.
Otherwise, you're just creating homeless people. And dude, like
Or you're pushing people into debt.
he almost worked for the Winklevoss twins,
The
and their
Winklevoss
fucking
twins, yeah.
yeah, and their company is like getting scrutinized now by the government. I'm like, damn, if they were messed up enough for the Trump administration to investigate you, I'm glad he recognized that and was like, I'm not fucking working for these guys.
Yeah, that was a smart move on his part.
But like, I see again, I'm like, we're in this society. Ain't no way these capitalists are not just going to disappear. They might move to other countries
Well,
and then
that's what I'm
hide their
saying. No,
wealth
yeah, no,
and
this
whatever.
is a great point.
So
Yeah.
like, whatever idea of like you're going to abolish the Supreme Court, okay, work towards that. But on the way towards that, we're
Right.
getting
We
all
got
these good things that are happening right now.
no, just problems and solutions, aka policies. Like that's where we should always.
Exactly.
That's where we should always steer the conversation. We should always be like, this is not about any one individual. This is where I think something, not to be, I don't know, offer too much of a comment on a subculture, but Muslims like Zoran Mamdani and Abdul El Sayed seem very good at deflecting laudation. Like they don't really care about getting the credit. You know what I mean? They just want to solve.
Yeah,
They just want to solve the problem.
I
They
would
just want to.
say it's not just them. It's it's AOC, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib.
Yeah, I'm just
Like,
talking about like emerging, like new
but
figures.
yeah,
But yeah,
these two, I think they're very. That's them byproduct of them being American Muslims who, for the last 25 years, there is suspicion and worry whenever they walk into a room. So they're very much. No wonder Zoran has learned to smile all the time at everybody
right.
and look non-threatening because it's a survival technique. And please see me as a human being. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think there's a lot of that, and it just so happens to help when you're campaigning to be like, I'm bringing it always back to what's going to help the community, what's going to help all of you. I've heard a criticism of it. Actually, I watched the FD Signifier video about Palestine yesterday. And he had some creators on, and this dude Lost Futures was like, talking about how he's great and we love him, but he's playing into this like stereotype of the good Muslim too much, of like, I'm perfect, I'm you can't possibly be bigoted against me. I wear a suit all the time, I got a big smile, all I'm trying to do is like help people, and that's great, but also people are multifaceted in the same way that black people don't need a perfect victim in like George Floyd, like Candace Owens. Oh, he was doing fentanyl. It doesn't matter. There was an injustice done to him. Doesn't matter.
He didn't deserve to die.
Same with Zoran. You don't have to be a perfect guy, man. Like,
no.
It's funny that you rapped at one point, and like that's cool. You can curse. You can wear a different outfit one day.
Yeah, he's got great natural instincts. I mean, I think he's smart enough to realize and humble enough to realize that all he's got to make sure he does is take care of those 4 out of the 5 boroughs. Manhattan can fuck off. Like, the people who are so loaded, like, they're never going to vote for him. Like, they've got too much money. But the working class boroughs, he's got to make sure he owns those. There's more people in Manhattan than those rich fucks. Right, exactly.
But speaking of Zohar Mamdani and Abdul Sayed, I got a lot of clips of both of them. But let's start with Zoran, because he put out this statement, I believe, yesterday about Netanyahu. And a campaign promise of arresting him, which I always was like, that sounds great. I don't think the cops would listen to you. And also that's like countries doing shit to each other. That's federal regardless.
Right. Yeah.
And he kind of puts that out here.
Benjamin Netanyahu is a war criminal, the architect of a horrific genocide against the Palestinian people. He is responsible for the killing of more than 73,000 people, for the maiming of tens of thousands of children, as those who survive undergo amputation without anesthesia, for the targeting of neonatal hospitals and maternity care centers, denying newborns even the chance to live, for the countless people he starved as he blocked food and humanitarian aid from reaching them, for the gunning down of hundreds of aid workers and journalists. And just last month, the UN confirmed that Palestinian children continue to be deliberately targeted and killed by Israeli armed forces, more than 8 months after the so-called ceasefire. The list goes on and on, all as we, as Americans, pay for the bombs that do the killing. There is a reason the International Criminal Court issued a warrant for his arrest. As human beings, we have spent generations building a shared understanding that there are crimes so grave they offend all of humanity. Anyone, with their eyes, with their heart, with their conscience, should recognize the devastation he has wrought and understand that he belongs before a court of law.
All right, I'm going to pause right there for a sec. I think this is a perfect analogy to what we're just talking about. DSA, on their platform, abolish the Supreme Court, abolish the Senate, abolish the presidency. I don't think they're going to happen in my lifetime. Him ran a campaign mostly on affordability. Here's free buses, childcare, affordability. He also said, Netanyahu's a war criminal. He's charged. There's a warrant for his arrest. We're going to make him feel unsafe here in New York. I never thought that he was going to perp walk Netanyahu like Eric Adams perp walked Luigi Mangio. Right. I never thought that was going to happen. I was like, at least this is a pushing of the narrative in a different direction. This is what Republicans are always so fucking good at, is making up narratives, is making up thing. Hey, you have to react to me. You have to react to my story, my thing that I'm putting out. Right. So that's what he's doing. He's putting out a counter narrative. He's a war criminal. He should be in front of a court of fucking law. I don't have the power to do that myself. I am calling on the Trump administration to do that. I'm calling on other countries to do that.
And
as a visible mayor.
He's implicitly doing something that I've been talking about, which is the cities in America kind of leading the way, and setting the example for how to kind of treat your neighbor. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad to see him kind of take control and basically say, don't fucking come to New York.
Yeah.
not just Netanyahu, but people who defend Netanyahu.
Word.
Like, and that's in his subtle way, like in his own subtle way, which I love. It's great. He's really talented,
It's setting
and he's got
the
big balls.
goal. It's setting the goal. Yeah, definitely. Setting the goal. If not, you can do it yourself. This is the goal for us eventually going forward. Maybe I'm not the one to do it, but you guys are going to climb over my back and you're going to do it, the next person. That's why DSA, I felt like I should join and be a part of this thing.
Yeah.
Working Families Party too, because it's urgent. It's urgent, and they need as many people pushing in a certain direction as possible. And if I could be a pair of hands, then I will be.
As I've said, I agree with the ICC that Benjamin Netanyahu should be arrested and tried for his crimes, as I do for anyone else charged by the ICC. My administration has reviewed every avenue available under applicable law to determine whether New York City could execute the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant if Benjamin Netanyahu came here. It is clear that we do not have the independent legal authority to enforce this warrant. The federal government, however, does, and I call on them to join the ICC and execute this warrant. And I want to be equally clear. Benjamin Netanyahu is not welcome in New York City, nor is any other war criminal at large. While we cannot end the genocide on our own, we can decide whether our silence will become another weapon, and we can examine every tool we have to defend the humanity and dignity of all people. That is my commitment to you.
Yeah. So again, him calling on the Trump administration, I think is pretty good. Pretty good because again, are they gonna fucking do it? Probably not. But Trump does like Mamdani. That's been established, and Trump is probably very frustrated with Netanyahu. So, like, is it out of the realm of possibility? I wouldn't say so. But again, I don't think it's going to happen. But again, going like, well, I legally can't. You know who legally can? Trump. Up to them. I call on them to do it. Like, make that divide. Push that.
Good. Yeah, no, I think you made it's a good line of demarcation that you're pointing out that he's establishing, or just kind of highlighting really for everyone to see. But I do think the more important part is don't fucking come to New York City.
Yeah.
Because it's not just a fuck you to Netanyahu. It's like, if you're at a bar in New York City now and you start defending Israel, like, you're going to get told to shut the fuck up. Yeah, it's not going
to be good.
You're going to get told to shut the fuck up and leave.
Yeah. This was the next day, and he was asked, do you think some of your supporters are disappointed in the message that you put out? And here's what he had to say.
And when it comes to Palestinian New Yorkers who are disappointed, I understand it, because we are talking about someone who has been charged with crimes against humanity, someone who has visited the city on many an occasion and who has been welcomed by previous mayors. And I want to make it very clear that that welcome ends with me. I will not be welcoming Benjamin Netanyahu or any other war criminals when they come to this city. And I do believe that our federal government should join the International Criminal Court and ensure that there is accountability when it comes to crimes against humanity.
Thank you.
Like, I think that's a pretty good response. Now, again, there's going to be people who are disappointed, who are mad.
Well, I think the biggest criticism is going to be like, dude, you're the mayor of New York City. What the fuck are you doing commenting on foreign policy?
Yeah.
That's what the dismissive comments is going to be. But it doesn't matter. Like, he's, I was in a group chat with some of my old high school friends. One of whom is a, DSA hater. And he's talking about how, like, Democrats, please make Zoran the new face of your party. And I'm like, he kind of already is.
He definitely is.
Like, it's not officially the party, but it's what people want the party to become. And more like him. And maybe, AOC was step 2 because Bernie was step 1. I don't know.
Yes.
But grow. The key is, at the end of the day, we all agree the key is growth. There's a saying in capitalism, when you're starting your own business, grow or die. And that needs to be our attitude. Grow or die.
Look, it's in a way, it is defined by your enemies. Like Bernie was highlighted in 2016 as, oh, this is the real face of the Democratic Party. He's got the mask off. He's saying what they really want out loud, and that's socialism. Oh, it's so scary, folks. And lucky for them, Hillary Clinton hated that too, and kneecapped the entire fucking party to make herself the nominee, and her allies kneecapping the convention and whatnot. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Neera Tanden, all that shit. Mm-hmm. But they made him the face, and turns out he's super popular. Super fucking popular. And then they did the same in 2018 with AOC when she was running against Crowley. Let's highlight this Puerto Rican chick. She's too young. She's a bartender. She makes our feelings inside awkward because we're racist, but we find her attractive, and there's this psychosexual hatred happening with her. Let's highlight her, and oops, now she's one of the most popular politicians in the country. Bernie expressly putting his arm around her and going, this is my successor, my heir. She is the next phase of this. Mamdani, just by being, it could have been anyone. There was 5 progressive candidates, right? But they all decided, hey, we're going to cross-endorse each other, and who has the most chance? It's Brad Lander and Zohar Mamdani, and they're going to cross-endorse each other. Rank us in these, whatever order you want, but just make sure to rank us and don't rank Cuomo. You don't want a Mayor Cuomo. That was the big thing here. And it worked, and Zoran happened to win. It could have been Brad Lander. We could have a Mayor Brad Lander and Zohar Mamdani going to Congress. Maybe.
Well,
in another universe.
I like Zoran just where he is.
I like him where he is too. And
he stays there for a while.
I think you're not the only one, because look, here's a little bit of cutting red tape that he put out the other day, and I will give you a reaction from someone we haven't seen in quite a long time. So here's his meeting, his announcement.
Today, my friends, we are lifting the freeze that too many New Yorkers must contend with as we launch Open for Small Businesses. Open, which stands for Overhauling Procedures and Expanding Navigation, is a package of more than 50 reforms that cut red tape, eliminate redundant fees, and streamline the permitting process. In a win for every ice cream lover across New York City, we will work with the state to do away with the frozen dessert permit that requires restaurants to seek out a superfluous second permit for what they're already doing, serving food. No more treatsploitation, as we say.
So, again, he's going to go on to make a bunch more dad jokes. This is a Republican 101, Libertarian 101.
Yeah.
Cut regulations, cut red tape. And you know who recognized that? Meghan motherfucking McCain. What's she been doing? She's not been on The View.
Where's she been hiding? Yeah. She's
spitting into a podcast mic like everybody else.
Why did she leave The View? That was a hell of a gig. I don't know why. I can't understand why the hell she left. She couldn't deal with the hate.
Fit.
She just couldn't deal with the hate.
Yeah.
Probably.
Threw a hissy fit, and now she's like, I want to talk to my bubble exclusively. So here she is praising Zohar Mamdani.
His economic message about why Republicans have abandoned the working class, why no one can afford anything, why what he's doing is working in New York City, is really compelling. And if I didn't know anything, and I was a low information voter, and there's no judgment of low information voters, people have lives and jobs and all these things. But if I was not paying attention, I would be very into this guy. I don't think Republicans realize that he's really the best messenger for this. And that even if he doesn't run, if there are any candidates running in 28 who can somehow imitate or be inspired in the same way that he was inspired by AOC, we have a real problem. Republicans have a real problem. And I was thinking about him compared to like the podcast broification of our party right now.
Whose fault was that, Megan? Whose fault was that?
Which is just very angry and conspiratorial and sort of me-based. Like it's my gripes, my versus he keeps talking about the collective. I was so struck this morning when I was getting ready doing my hair and makeup about how he's a generational talent. He's like Obama. Like we should all thank God he can't run for president because he would be a formidable candidate in about 10 years. But I think that I I think this
All
is
right.
a tornado that's coming that Republicans are not. We are way too lax on this one. We are not taking him seriously.
Why are you still loyal to the GOP?
Right?
Why are you still? This is not your party anymore. This is not your father's
It's Trump's party.
This is not Reagan. This is Reagan on cocaine. This is Barry Goldwater. This is George Wallace.
Yeah.
But
Like-
she doesn't even know who those people are. But, okay, so
I mean,
couple
hilarious.
things. This is a great clip. That is really funny to see Meghan McCain. It seems like her getting off of network TV has actually done her some good. She actually has like evolved. It sounds like a little bit.
I don't think
in
so.
terms-
Because
Well-
she just brings it back and like, well, thank God he can't
No,
run for
but
president.
it's baby steps. I see a little bit of growth. I see a little bit of growth in the me again Megan thing. She didn't talk about her father there. She, but she's still delusional about like the party. She keeps saying we. That's the thing that's bothering me the most is like we. He's like you're still so you're MAGA because if you're a Republican then you're MAGA.
Yeah.
People who say that they're Republicans but they're not MAGA, sorry, no, we have no respect for that.
She should just
No,
go.
you don't get to decide that. You don't get to decide that. Everybody who's not a Republican gets to decide what you are.
Her
and everybody
and
who's not a
Sarah
Republican will
Longwell.
tell you that they're the same thing.
Her and Sarah Longwell and David Pacman and Neera Tanden go create a third party. Go create your third party. The Democrats and the Republicans are spoken for. It is the Trump people, the MAGA people, the lunatic, like out and out KKK, like they're in charge. It's over. They're in charge. Now we are taking over the Democratic Party. That again,
So-
I don't love the Democratic Party. I don't give a fuck.
Well,
I don't
it's
really
just the
know what
system. It's the
socialism means,
system.
but I know the DSA is going to fucking fix this shit. And that's the only two options. We have two options in this country, Dieter. That's it. That's it.
Yeah,
There's no third
and-
party unless they're. And then I'd be happy if they created a third party so that there is more competition.
Yeah, if we had ranked choice voting and publicly funded elections, then
For real.
that would be, but that's again that's what we should be aspiring to instead of talking about abolishing the presidency and the Senate. They should be talking about ranked choice. I mean, it's like the
it's in there,
DSA is just
too.
like the DSA is like 5 years ahead of everybody else. It's like we
Yeah.
just got people to start talking about ranked choice voting. Like let's make that happen everywhere first.
Yes.
So anyway, one thing about Zoran though, and I don't know the guy, okay, but he seems to have a certain value system that would be similar to mine if I were in the public eye like that, where he doesn't want it to ever really be about him.
Yeah.
So yes, he's talented. Calling him a generational talent, that's a little premature. I
Again,
think.
she's just like, I have not seen this since my dad was defeated by Obama.
But she's also missing the point there too, and I'm losing respect the more I'm talking about it, responding to her. But
okay.
she's like missing the point too. Is like they're gonna. It's not like people think that I found a star. The star is just gonna get bigger over time. Yes, that's true. But if you want the movement to succeed, the star needs to multiply.
Yeah.
Multiply. So you said AOC got elected in 2018. Or
Along
Mamdani
with,
got
I
elected
believe,
in 2026, so 8 years in between those two things happening in the same city.
I mean, yeah.
So it's just like I just as the old guy on the block here, I resign myself to just merciless, relentless expectation management, and it's just going to be
for
like
sure.
I don't think we're going to get a progressive president in 2028. I think we're going to get a Democrat. But I think it's going to be I think it's going to try to be Obama 2.0.
I think we're going to
that's
get.
starting to be my expectation.
Look, I got fingers crossed, knocking wood for AOC. But if it's John Ossoff, I'll take Ossoff.
Well, yeah,
It's gonna be.
Who I think. You know who
What?
I think of the establishment names? Oh, you're going to love this.
Newsom,
Mayor Pete.
Mayor Pete, dude.
Mayor Pete.
If you give the
People
liberals a
love 'em.
fucking twig, give them a treat, and go, hey, here's your gay president that you want, so that you
Right.
can believe that progress is still happening in this country,
Right.
even though the last decade proved like, hey, maybe the entire country's not on board with this, stupids. Fine. I think whoever, if it's not AOC, if it's not a progressive president, it's going to be a Democratic president who goes where the wind blows.
Right.
And we got to blow.
The wind.
We got to blow
that's
real
a great
hard.
point. We can be the wind. We can totally be the wind. No, absolutely.
Because,
and
like,
Congress has a ton of power, and you're going to see a huge sweep for the DSA in the huge wave for the DSA in 2028. You think 2026 is going to be big. Like, that's the commentary that's driving me nuts. How many times have you heard, oh, I don't think we could replicate the DSA success in New York somewhere else? Like, well, it's happening.
It's already happening.
And it's like a virus, right? A good virus that starts in the cities and then spirals outside into the suburbs. And then eventually someday we'll get these rural uneducated whites, a.k.a. MAGA trash, to wake up and realize that they actually are just overgrown children who's scared of their daddy.
Yeah. Have you seen Andor?
No, but I've heard it's great.
All right. So there's this scene here at the end where the Imperial, like, CIA, effectively, he's listening to this dude's speech, and this dude's a revolutionary, and he made a manifesto, and at the end of the series, it kind of keeps spreading throughout the galaxy, where more and more people are broadcasting it, more people are hearing it. It's the ideas that we don't have to be debt slaves, we don't have to be wage slaves, that our bosses are actually stealing from us, that we're not lazy if we don't want to work. Those jobs are bad jobs. Workers' rights, like waking back up this sleeping beast of class solidarity, racial solidarity, intersectionality, all this shit that has been beaten down by the Republicans all the time. I mean, the conservatives in this country all the time. And the corporate Democrats who are like, let's get along to go along. Let's just make concessions because they have all the money and we want some of that before we die.
Yep.
Realists,
Latino Mafuna, yes, I do think we can get another kind of FDR. I think FDR's second Bill of Rights, the Economic Bill of Rights, is just an easy shortcut to explain what something like the DSA or just the progressive Democrats really want to see our country do: healthcare, housing, education, environment, protecting farmers, Social Security, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Check it out, everybody. FDR's second Bill of Rights. So yeah, it's an exciting time to be a DSA member, man.
Yeah, man. But I want to check out some of these other.
Oh yeah, go ahead. You got
clips.
another reaction? Sure.
This is him. Well, first of all, here's Nancy Mace. I don't have to play her. I apologize to the chat for showing her face, her visage, as well as Pierce Morgan's visage. But she says, how many Jews voted for Mamdani? How self-loathing are they? She is not Jewish, by the way. And the idea of a self-loathing Jew, self-hating Jew, is a anti-Semitic trope perpetrated by Zionists, Zionist Jews. If you're not on board with the idea of Israel, the project of Israel, then you're actually a self-hating Jew, and we don't really count you. And we let it be known that people can discriminate against you because you're self-hating. It is disgusting that she said that. I'm a Jew in New York who voted for Mamdani, so she can go fuck herself. But this is another clip that I found interesting because he's done a couple longer interviews. I've not watched all of them. This is from the Rolling Stone, and this is them talking about the cops. Another hot button. He didn't touch the cops during the campaign, which I think a lot of people noticed, including me, was like, I think he doesn't want to fight with the police unions and all that comes with that.
The cops are so powerful.
And it's just like, I want to just get my agenda done, and if I could do it around the cops trying to impede me, then I still am a huge success as a mayor, because he remembers de Blasio. De Blasio tried to take on the cops, and they threatened his fucking daughter. They threatened his daughter. They were like, your daughter was at this protest. Here she is on this train. Here's a photograph of her. And also, maybe this protest is like a riot, and she'll get arrested or maybe hurt. Like, literally threatened his family. Gangster shit. Because the cops are a gang. Cops are a gang. We're going to hear more about that tomorrow, I'm sure, from Black Red Guard. But here's Mamdani on the cops.
What was your relationship with the police growing up?
I grew up in our city with an experience of police in that there were some for whom there were people in their family who were serving on the force, others for whom it was only the experiences they would have with officers themselves. Um, I don't recall having any experiences in our city that really do stand out to me at a personal level. But I think one thing that has stood out to me is that for quite some time in our city, New Yorkers have been made to feel as if they have to choose between safety and justice. And I think it's critically important that we deliver the both of them and show that, in fact, that isn't a choice that has to be made any longer.
I think that's again bringing it back to, it doesn't matter what I feel about the police. It's what the police should be doing in the city. And again, that's another plank of like the DSA, abolish the police. Okay, work towards that, man. Go for it. But like on the way there, we get some reforms. We get to close Rikers. We get some fucking like.
I'm not for. I mean, yeah, right. Like let's fix.
You know what I mean?
prisons
Exactly.
first. Yeah. No, so you see some real rhetorical talent there, where he's taking a basic question that is supposed to kind of be something of a gotcha, and he doesn't bite the bait, and he's like, yeah, I don't know, it's been pretty ignorant. I haven't had any like drama with the cops in my life, but I will say, watching the rhetorical dynamic over the last few years, it does seem like this false dichotomy has been presented in front of us, where we just have to have. And he didn't say this, and this is where I would add the Wasp angle, if you will, where the cops, we don't have to just have blind faith in the badge, right? Like there's been a lot of stuff that indicates our vetting process for who gets to wear this uniform and have the gun on their hip and the cuffs and all that power.
Yeah.
It seems like we have not done enough of a vetting process. So like that's, again, he just inspires me to take that next step, and that's a sign that he's doing his job, because we're political geeks and we want to compare things to history and try to forecast what's going to come, and whenever I hear him handle an open-ended moment like that, it gets me going on, okay, where does that lead? And that's a sign of a really great communicator.
Word. And
But yeah,
speaking of vetting, I mean, this is about ICE, but this is the guy who killed the father in Maine. Threw his 13-year-old daughter through a coffee table and threatened to slit his ex-wife's throat. DHS failed to properly vet this lunatic, and now father is dead. Disturbing audio. Listen to the ICE agent who threatened to slit his wife's throat. I don't think we need to. But, I mean, the fact that it's on, well, I mean, fuck it. Let's play.
Most recent call before this week was on November 28th, 2025.
Every single female in your bloodline is nothing but a disgusting fat. And all of you should have your throat cut. Yeah, you should.
Most recent call.
I mean, probably. This is a fucking divorced dad.
Hey, you know what?
Like,
have you ever heard of the Latin saying "in vino veritas," which means "in wine there is truth"?
oh, no, but yeah, that makes sense.
If you drink alcohol, yeah, you see what people are really made of, man. That's what I say in my big three. One of my trichotomies is, if you want to see who someone really is, get him drunk, get him stressed, or watch what they do with their money. That's how you feel out what people are really about, those three contexts. And with the conservatives, it's not hard to see what they value. And like our man George Carlin said, they're interested in property. They're only interested in people that are just like them. That's why New York's such a great beacon, man, because it's so fucking diverse. I mean, there's more goddamn ethnicities. I'd be interested to see like a study in terms of, because you got the Asian ethnicities in LA that would maybe give you a run for your money, but I think all the African countries that are represented in New York and stuff like that, man, it just never ends. It just like, that's what I'm saying, man.
Greatest city in the world.
Yeah,
greatest city in the world.
I have never. If I had ever lived there, I'd probably agree with you. I mean, I just as looking from the outside, looking from afar, growing up in that corner of the country, it looks pretty great. Every time I've been there, I'm never bored when I go to New York, and I get bored easily.
Word. All right, let's bring in Lumen if he's ready. Pop him up on the stage. What's going on? Muted. Yeah. Well, can I unmute?
I think you have to do it.
Can't unmute because your guests chose to mute themselves. All right. One sec, folks. But yeah, so there's lots of other stuff happening in the world right now. Speaking of Abdul Sayed, I can actually bring up a clip of that.
Yeah.
Put the time code in here. All right. So this I played on the show yesterday, but I thought it was great. Do you know this character Jake Lang who shows up places? This little right-wing freak.
Yeah, I've seen him. Yeah.
So he showed up to a campaign event and was promptly escorted out.
Why are you persecuting me?
We're gonna clap him out. The reason I wanted to clap him out to USA is because he doesn't hate me. He doesn't hate AG. He don't even hate you. You know what he hates? He hates America. He hates the idea of what America was always supposed to be. Of the people, by the people, and for the people. Where it should not matter the color of your skin, should not matter how you pray, should not matter who you love, that you can be fully and 100% America. He hates that America. He wants America to be small. He wants America to be like him. He wants America to be hateful. He wants America to be a place that does not include. And every day that we go out there and we knock on those doors, we make an argument about what America actually is.
Was he born here? Can he be the president?
An America that is bigger than his hate.
Yeah.
An America that is bigger than the small-mindedness that he brings to this. An America that has a bigger heart than the one that he has. An America that is bigger than a Donald Trump who thinks that some people don't get to belong here because of their color of their skin. An America that is bigger than the idea that we all can come together and pray how we choose or not pray at all.
I knew I liked this
America
guy.
is bigger. That is bigger than Mike Rogers and the corporate corruption that they all.
You like the not
Well,
pray
I
at
just
all?
read about. I haven't Googled him yet for some reason. I'd like to look at people's early life, and he was a lacrosse player.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, he was a lacrosse player. He grew up in Detroit. Yeah, wrestling, football, and lacrosse. I was like looking at those guns. I'm like, what sports did he play growing up?
Where is the Eminem endorsement? I need the Eminem endorsement.
Oh, you got to pay for that.
I mean, Kamala got one.
Yeah, but they paid for it.
To run these campaigns to pick our pocket. The America they believe in is one where a few people who look a particular way get to siphon off your money to make billions. That's the America they want. That's the America he represents. That's the America he's so mad he didn't get. And as much as that's an ugly display of the America they want for us, this here is a beautiful display of the America we can yet build.
Like, what a way to talk about turning not even a question, just a hate rant, hate pop-up into a campaign ad, into a point about your campaign.
Yeah, no, he's a really talented guy. I mean, the more I see him, the more he timed his appearance with Hassan kind of perfectly. And now that Plattner got blown up too, he's kind of like, you know,
the only one.
The only one left for the Senate races anyway, or at least he's the one getting the most attention. As we have come to learn, mainstream media does not do a very good job of comprehensively covering Congress or the Senate. Because there's so many that's the real, they should be required, like when, you know, whether it was the Fairness Doctrine with Reagan or Bill Clinton's Telecom Act. I mean, there should have been, when we got 24-hour news stations, there should have been a requirement that they cover, like, the minutia, like the boring shit like C-SPAN does. Like, instead of just doing Trump all day long, Morning Joe should be showcasing, like, different congressmen that are trying to be more progressive. But, you know, corporate interests win, as we always find out, is corporate interests win, and they don't want those voices to be loud. But, as you're seeing, it's growing. It's growing, and we've got a lot to hope for. That's the one thing, is like talking with you guys is always nice, because I do get optimism, I do get hope. And whereas when I'm talking with kind of like a lot of other people who in my life, for whatever reason, they're just and I guess because they're reading mainstream media, they're just, negative and
Yeah, of
super
course.
super doomer.
Because mainstream media is like, fuck the Republicans, but also fuck these people who are actually trying to
the
stop
socialists.
them.
Right.
Like,
Well, and the thing that doesn't get countered is we never had power. Like, who's had power?
Mhm.
And they just lump us in with the establishment Democrats like Clinton and Obama.
Yeah.
And it sucks. And that's the essay I'm working on now is Obama, and I've been wrestling with it because he is so goddamn popular. He is so goddamn popular still to this day. He's the most popular Democratic figure. And I just have been reading in to the details of his presidency, and you see so many established patterns just overwhelm him. Like, I believe that he came in, and I don't know the guy, but I like to believe that he came in with good intentions, but he never, for the record, never called himself progressive, always called himself liberal. And there's a video of him that we don't need to watch, but when he went to Northwestern, his hometown Chicago, he went to the Kellogg School of Management. He didn't go to the public policy school, and he makes a point of that. And he said, I believe that capitalism is the best system, has created the most prosperity.
yeah, of course he
and
does.
most
Now he's got a
opportunity.
fucking library there.
Well, the other thing about it is that, don't forget, he is a baby boomer. And all baby boomers were socially conditioned within the context of the Cold War. And that can never be forgotten. That has to be echoed through every left-wing media sphere is the effect of the Cold War on baby boomers, because it kind of lets them off the hook. It's like, the kid who grows up to be an alcoholic, like, it's not his fault, right? That you're like live under the highway. Like, it was not his fault when you get to know his story. It's like the boomers, they were socially conditioned to worship capitalism as a false god. And now here we are, and the false god has turned his back on the poor, man. I mean, Trump is just, the litany, like ripping off his own people. Trump, like the corruption is legendary, and they still just ignore it.
Yeah, Lumen.
But,
what's going on?
Hey, am I in here?
Man,
Okay, great.
you caught me in the midst of a monologue, bro. Sorry about that.
No, okay. So
your thoughts?
I don't know the man, but obviously, me, I don't have Barry on speed dial, but I did knock doors for the man in probably the closest. Like, I've been in a room with him, and I knocked doors for him in Cincinnati, Ohio, twice.
Wow.
And so it's like that's ground zero, like that's front line. Yeah. And here's the vibe. Like, the more you read about the man, the more he makes sense. Like, people, like, I'm not saying you have to hate Obama. Okay. I'm not saying you have to hate Obama. What I'm saying is, once you understand, he's no more than a liberal. And and when you talk about, because when he went up, I don't want to be so hyperbolic and say he sold his soul, because he did what was always inside of him, which was to uphold liberalism and neoliberalism. But when the election turned for him against Hillary Clinton is when he secured the backing of corporate America. Forget the voters. When he said, look, you get me in here, I will get you whatever you want.
Yeah.
Right. And he paid that back tenfold with the mortgage crisis and bailing out the banks. Yeah. So you just understand like how he works, and you kind of got to separate this idea of Obama from who he actually is. And it's hard to do that because of identity politics. Ironically, the reason why the reason why we can be like Hillary Clinton needs to be drawn and quartered in the public square is because she's close to a Karen white woman that we can, I've got hot sauce in my bag.
And she's a woman.
And she's a woman,
people
so he
hate
can
women.
say that.
Yeah.
But when you're like, you really like, when you have like the first black president, he is inoculated from a lot of criticism
beyond reproach,
because he was the first black president, and it is what it is. Like, I'm not saying good, bad, or
I
different.
think time wears that down.
Yes, but a lot of people have to die of natural causes, and what I mean by that is, and I'm saying this not even as like I can't wait for this to happen. It's just not a conversation I ever want to have. Like at work, I live in New Orleans, Louisiana, There's like 2 white people in my office. When I talk about I have a critique of Barack Obama, the amount of pushback I get, and I have to be like, okay, it's because of policy and this and this and this.
Right.
But I was like, does Obama belong in The Hague? Absolutely. But I always say the people who live in this city and in other black majority cities are just people of color or whoever who have the Obama commemorative time life plates of him and his family. I'm not trying to be that guy, man.
Yeah.
Like I'm like
the only thing you got to do.
I'm glad my grandparents got to see that before they died.
Exactly.
You know?
Right. And I just would always go bite size in that because the odds of them listening to me are slim. Yeah. But I would go 2 things. One is, don't you think his personality problem was that he cared more about being liked than being respected?
Absolutely.
And then second, fuck you for bringing Hillary Clinton back into the fold when she was on her way out.
Word.
For breathing life into the Clinton political dynasty and teeing her up for 2016 like that, and then basically just handing the keys.
He
back
doesn't
to
get the nomination in 08.
He even said, let's move on from the Bush-Clinton years. During the campaign, he said that. And then what does he do when he becomes president? He gives her the sexiest secretary position.
Yeah. I think that's completely fair because as somebody who is he doesn't get the nomination if he doesn't do that. What does whatchamacallit say? Oh God, who's the guy? Jesse Ventura. He goes, Republicans and Republic Crips and Demo gangsters or whatever.
Yeah, Demo bloods.
Yeah, it was like 2 mafias in a dice game, and it's like you see that happening to where like Barack, like what are you doing? Like this woman talked about you. Like, well, he could get shot just like Bobby Kennedy. It could happen. Like, you should have shivved her in the back and supported Bernie Sanders.
It's not who he is.
Because you're right. It's not who he is.
Because he wanted that library. Because if he does that after his presidency in 2016 and goes, oh yeah, my Secretary of State, who I trusted for 8 years to do this job, she actually is incompetent. Yes, her emails are really bad, and go get him, Troy Gowdy or whatever the fuck his name is.
But I do want to say I understand why he picked her for Secretary of State because 1, it's to pay back her for not putting up a super nasty fight once everything turned on her, and then 2, why wouldn't you? If you're put yourself in his mind, she's a killer, dude. She sat right there with her husband and backed executing a mentally disabled man and she's a killer. Yeah. It is what she is. Yeah. That's who I would want.
At that present moment, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
Long term, and here we are back to the Democratic Party mishandling power.
Mm-hmm.
There was a long-term problem. Did you ever see that movie Nixon?
Yes.
No. Okay. So when he loses in 1960, that his team, there's a great scene where they're talking about plans for the future. Like, you want to go after him in 64, you want to just wait till 68, what do you want to do? And there was that greatest generation style of managing power that we have lost touch with. And that was also, that reared its ugly head with Kamala Harris. And no one wants to say why Kamala Harris became Joe Biden's vice president. I mean, people say Obama took the elevator to the top. Kamala Harris took the fucking elevator to the top. She had no one. Obama had fans. Obama had a base of people that loved him, and like you knocked for doors for him.
Well,
but Kamala had to drop out. She wasn't a major player.
Right, she had to drop out, but she still had to
I know what you're. I'll say what you're alluding to. The thing that was so funny is that like people be like, "Oh, Barack Obama was some kind of a DEI hire." It's like no. Joe Biden was the DEI hire. Joe Biden was the white.
Yep.
Joe Biden was the medicine to make the first black president named Barack Hussein Obama go down.
Yes, for sure.
But like, you can't even call Harris a DEI hire because DEI hires are qualified. Like she had nothing. She had nothing going for her except that the president of the United States saying, I will have a black female vice president. Like,
exactly.
What an insane thing to say. Like, let's go get Candace Owens then, I guess. Like, what are we talking about?
Really?
But but yeah, like, and I want to say one thing about the you know, let's bring up the old demons of, you know, 2016. The Democrats, because this is how they are, you know, both parties are just outward representations and arms of capital, to where capitalism line must go up. Line must go up. Capitalism is a zero-sum game, winner take all. And it falls apart because of that. Like, line cannot always go up. Let's be completely honest with ourselves. Bernie could have been controlled. Like, what I mean by that is, like, everything. Yeah, we would have got Medicare for all. We would have got, but it wouldn't have been a dictatorship of the proletariat of what these people scream. It would have been Bernie Sanders kicking the can of capitalism down the road and keeping it on the tracks for another 4 to 8 years.
Yeah.
Before it completely falls apart. I
I
don't mean that even in a bad way. I mean that in just a realpolitik. Like, Bernie Sanders was the best choice for capital. He really was, to keep it going.
The thesis that I think that we're harping on is that it's difficult to overcome the forces once you get in office. Right? The forces are so deep, and it's very difficult to overcome those. If I think he would have gotten like 2, 3, 4, 5 major policies done, improve and redefine the Democratic Party. Like, that's the thing that presidents can do, is they can redefine the party. And that's another thing that I have a tough time with Obama. And, you know, it's not necessarily him so much as his fucking team. If you look at who he surrounded himself, the biggest perpetrator of all, Rahm Emanuel, like, he invited those capitalist forces into his inner circle, and that spoiled the bunch. But I tell you what, the criticism, him being on beyond reproach because he was the first black president, I think that has definitely waned. And I think the $850 million price tag for his fucking library, that's gonna be like, dude, come on, really? Like $1 billion for
this is
fucking
the
presidential library, dude.
Reframe.
It's not even like, if it doubled as a school, if it had a
purpose,
if it had a purpose, like, that would be cool with me. If it was like a high tech, like, grad school, like, that would be my dream. If I had a library, have it double as like an academic institution.
Here's the DSA message.
It's just a monument to him.
It's Obama's ballroom.
Here's the thing. It's waned in your circles. It's waned in mine, because we are the cutting edge,
educated.
0.11, not even educated. I would say we are the sickos who do this for fun and profit.
Yep.
Right. The average person who voted for Barack Obama, and the average Democrat of all race, color, creed, sex, they think about this man as that was the good old days. That was the second coming of FDR.
Right. Yeah.
They really do. Yeah. They don't think about forever Afghanistan wars. They don't think about drone striking U.S. citizens.
They don't think about to Israel.
They don't think about any of that, bro. They are comparing it to the nightmare cyberpunk dystopia that the mask is now off. We've always been here. But the mask
and here's
is
what
now
Capital
off.
did. Like you say, Bernie would have been the smart choice for Capital, and I agree. It definitely would have been. But the problem is, Capital is not the Machiavellian Mad Men caricature or the Gatsby that we've all kind of grown up assuming that these big wigs are. They've been revealed to be Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and fucking Peter Thiel. They're fucking idiots, and they thought, well, let's get Trump in there. He's just like us. They're nouveau rich, as my beautiful, lovely off-screen wife likes to say. They're freaking idiots. They were looked down upon by those, older industrialists, like wealthy families, the elites, the secret elites. They were looked down on from those people, and so they're fucking mad. They want to go to Epstein Island and party. Yeah. That's what they like to do. And the elites are like too good for that. No. We have our own. Like, we got Sharon Tate, and we're doing this shit in the 60s and shit. But JFK, Marilyn Monroe, but they're not sloppy. These motherfuckers are sloppy. So they pushed in Trump. They got him. And the Republicans are the perfect vehicle for that. So because they worship capital, they worship money. They built Trump. He took the fucking nomination. For 4 years, there was this like, well, Trump does what he does, but there's good people around him. He's got Lindsey Graham. He's got John Bolton. He's got, some of the more neoconservative motherfuckers instead of the lunatics like Steve Bannon and whatever. Now it's, first of all, Biden's presidency doesn't even feel like a presidency. It feels like a coming up for air before going back, being dragged back underwater. Yeah. Further, now with Stephen Miller and all the sycophants, like there is no anybody holding him back, or even again, the holding him back of the first term, that was kayfabe. That was bullshit. They wanted him to do what he was doing. He's the Hulk. They just had to aim him in the right direction. That's all it was. And now he's unleashed. It's the Hulk unleashed. There's no banner anymore. Go see Spider-Man next week.
Question for you guys. Do you think, so whenever I'm talking about politics, like with a normie, I just try to get them to a place of like we're at war. If you can get them to agree with the political context that we're in right now as being defined by a war, that conservatism, I would argue, started all the way back in 1980, if you want to go that far. But I don't hear anybody on the left, even the establishment left. Maybe John Ossoff, but no one is really using wartime rhetoric at this point and talking about things like counterattacks and how it's not going to be just enough to beat them in 26. We got to beat them in 28. We got to beat them for the next 40 years. No one is really calling for that scale of conflict, as far as I can tell.
Nobody. There are people who, y'all were talking about Abdul and Zoran Mandami, and for all the leftist scaremongering on Fox News and on MSNBC, it's crazy. Certain people, like those two guys for sure, have the mindset of a insurgent, of I don't want to say revolutionary, but just as a hit and run and hit them where they're, Sun Tzu, hit them where they're weak, retreat where they're strong. And that's those guys are that, and always stay on message. Don't be afraid to ally with people temporarily and discard them when they're not necessary. Don't, that kind of stuff. Yeah. I want to see more of that. You're speaking my language,
dude. I just found 2 clips for you. Okay. So perfect. Here's both of them, AOC and Mamdani. Here's AOC being asked, some DSA call themselves communists. What do you think about that?
Do that, I'm not going to be deterred.
Should some DSAers who have called themselves communists educate themselves as to what
it's a free country. It's a free country. You've got people with all sorts of affiliations in this country, and the whole point is that we don't politically, persecute people. You can you have a bona fide, all sorts of extreme groups. It's a free, you can hold whatever views you have in this country.
That could have been a little more forceful, but I think she was trying to get to,
So look, at the end of the day, hold that thought. I'm going to be real quick. I'll just be real quick.
No, you're good.
At the end of the day, just because of my training, I'm never going to be satisfied with AOC public persona because she doesn't have the polish. She doesn't have the polish. But anyway, go ahead, Lumen.
No, I was going to say, I feel the same way. We've had this discussion about electoral politics the same way. It's what I just said about Bernie Sanders. For me, when we're talking, I said, I have to personally, I separate what I think is correct and right. These are my red lines to what I think not feasible, but what I think is actually going to move the ball. I had this critique, I just said Bernie Sanders. I didn't mean that with any shade, would keep capitalism going. I walked miles for that man, knocking doors for him. I don't even really like AOC, but if she ran for president, I would walk miles on broken glass to get her elected because she would move the ball in the direction I want to go. But, the thing that the left, and I'm glad you talked, because I was going to talk about this if I was in solo, is that the left in general, y'all were talking about defunding the police and all this, and I don't think I agree, you know, with what you were saying, Dieter. Like, okay, this is what I'm trying to say. Save that for close. Take some lessons from the right.
Yeah, bro.
Save that from, and I mean that with all. I'm disconnected from morality here. I'm talking straight tactics. Take some lessons from the right. I remember I'm old enough to remember the 4chan. Stop the 4chan posts talking about power level with these Nazis. Stop revealing your power level.
Yeah.
Stop talking about what. No.
Yeah, man.
The way you need to. The way I would talk about if Robert Johnson, Lumen Cast, was asked as a about the DSA on Fox News, I'm like, are you telling me you're afraid of the people who I've been to these meetings? And this is true. I'm not lying. But I'm like, are you afraid? You're talking about the people who can't decide what meat substitute needs to go into the potluck chili, and they do an hour the Robert's rule about. These are the people you're talking about. Everybody needs to be afraid of, because I'm not seeing it. What are you talking about here? But it's like, stop saying. I'm not saying
last week
like,
with Black Red Guard, who, if you are available tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern for 2 hours, a great conversation for the panel show. But yeah, I brought up, like, dude, years ago on Fox News, might have been 2018 or 19, there was a clip of DSA where they're like, point of order, before they even started the meeting, point of order, I was misgendered, or point of order, can we not clap? I have an auditory thing.
Oh God!
Can we all snap or whatever?
The narcissism, like,
And but just portraying them as this is a like college social club. Like it is a play thing. Like it's just a meeting that they go to. They're not really doing anything. You don't need to be that scared. Or even if we want you to be scared because AOC is part of the DSA, and here's the group that she comes from, and here's what they do. They're so disorganized. It was a fluke that she got in, but this is the real heart of the Democrats, so you still should be afraid. It's the same talking out both sides of their fucking mouth as Biden. He's Sleepy Joe. He's non-threatening, but he's also a secret vessel for the communist fucking agenda from China. It's the same. It's the they live in paradoxes, but I totally agree. Don't talk about fucking abolishing the. I don't even think they should be talking about abolishing the Senate and Supreme Court right now.
No, let's abolish AIPAC first. Let's abolish ICE first. Let's get every single Trump judge. No, so that's the war stuff that I'm talking about, right? I say with my right hand I'll destroy you, with my left hand I'll replace you. So with your right hand, you're abolishing ICE, you're abolishing AIPAC, you're prosecuting MAGA, you're replacing any and all Trump judges, packing the court. And and that's basically like a universal, like, no Trump library, right? No, none of that. The anti-Trump act. And then you got to replace it, and that's where you get the shortcut of FDR's economic Bill of Rights, where you get healthcare, housing, education. You throw in environment, criminal justice, immigration reform. If we had like a real, and that's like where I'm trying to get to know the DSA is like, where are your detailed policy proposals for like a completely new immigration system? What does that look like? Because instead of going to changing the structure of government, like we're talking about, what is the DSA immigration system? What is that?
Right. What even if you have it, I understand what you're saying, because I said not to DSA people, but the people who are just like. Because I've told you my thoughts about electoral politics, but I'm just like, they'll be like, oh, I don't know that this is bourgeoisie shit. And I'm like, okay, so what time are we showing them for the Rev? Because if we're not doing that, I don't know what you're talking about. But the thing is, I'm not even saying that shit shouldn't even be discussed. Like, we should, like, disbanding the Senate and defunding the police and all that shit. That should all be discussed in a place like this space. Not in front of a Fox News desk. Because the problem with that is, like, look at Abdul and look at Mandami. They don't get baited into that shit. They are on message. He'd be like, well, what about defunding the police? They would ask him, and Abdul would say, like, well, the police are already defunded because we're sending billions of our tax dollars to Israel. So
and that money should be back here in the community while I'm working from Michigan.
It's a good pivot. He knows how to pivot well. Yeah, they're political athletes. And they also, too, this is something that, not to be sexist, it's just social conditioning. Like, men have a little bit easier time being entitled than women do. And they are embracing that. Like, I told Alex a while back, just to the white privileged guy, talking about entitlement. The attitude you should have with the media is you are on my time, not the other way around.
Absolutely.
You know, and if you have that attitude, then the whole dynamic of the interview changes, and then and then you get to communicate about what you want, because you just described a great pivot there. Yeah, Abdul's a great athlete.
And at this whole conversation about rhetoric that we're having, you know, I think we talked about this, Deter, a while ago when you first put me on to Tallarico. It's like, hey, we should watch this guy in Texas. He's making moves. And I was like, he's good, but he's the guy who explains to the whites why the coloreds are running away with things and why we're actually winning and fighting so ferociously. And I think Mamdani accidentally found himself in that position as a colored man himself, but he's the star. New York is the greatest city in the world, so he is the national figure that's being asked onto all these platforms to talk about it. And here he is slowly explaining to the boomers and Gen X, who loves Jon Stewart, how socialism is like fire departments and stuff.
If you go back to some of the Democrats that we most admire, FDR, LaGuardia, you will see a lot of democratic socialist principles in their vision. And if you think about a lot of what we've come to accept as just the facts of life across our country, a lot of it is also still driven by democratic socialist principles. Now, if today you and I were to introduce the idea of a building that lends out books for free, we would be slandered in the same way that so many new ideas are slandered today. And yet that's the library. And the same thing with the fire department, the same thing with public schools. And it's to say that a lot of politics has been a debate about who deserves what.
Yep.
And I would prefer a politics that debates how we can deliver that to everyone. If you go back,
I mean, again, reframing it, explaining it slowly for the children in the back who you were saying are conditioned from the Cold War to hear socialism and freak out.
Right.
Here it is. It's the fire. Do you like the fire department? Do you like libraries? Do you like, you know, having schools available and roads and hospitals? Just slowly. And it's annoying. It's
great.
annoying
I mean,
for people,
he does well to keep it basic and say it like a fifth grader. That's something that, with respect to communication, is always a good idea, is to keep things simple and direct. I will say he needs to trim that stash. He's getting a little bit heavy on the stash. I don't know if you want to bring it back up so people can see.
He is a little bit heavy on the stash.
It's a little bit heavy on the stash right now, Z.
It's not. He needs to fade that in with the rest.
Yeah, it's got to be the same.
Yeah, that looks crazy.
It's got to be it's like, you know, it's all got to be symmetrical.
Crazy.
You gotta trim that stash.
Yeah, that looks mad crazy. No, I didn't.
Yeah.
This is another clip from their interview today.
What is the difference between the rhetoric of running for mayor and the reality of governing as mayor?
There's often a lot made of a campaign as if it is easier and a governing as if it is a harder experience.
Yes.
I think both are challenging. I think what is lost, though, is that governing comes with the opportunity to deliver. When you're campaigning, you're asking people to believe. You're asking them to put their trust into a politics that's often disappointed them. And when you're governing, you can earn their trust by what you deliver. And so it is much easier to have a conversation about this vision today when we've been able to pave 175,000 potholes, put the city on a path to universal childcare, win more than $60 million for tenants whose landlords made negligence into a business model. When we have that conversation now, you can point to what these last 6 months have looked like under democratic socialist principles. When you have it during the campaign.
Sir, what we're being recorded right now. What are you doing?
Apologies.
You're throwing in the S word?
I didn't mean to use a slur.
Don't throw in the S word.
I didn't mean to use a slur live on this podcast.
Son of a... What?
I just wanted to make sure that we're going to be together in the cell when we're all rounded up.
All right. Fair enough.
Oh, yeah. That's something we could talk about, too. I forgot
that's a really good point, though. Yeah. Like that. See, what I was saying about hiding your power level, yes, do that. But then if your core principles of just like, are you a socialist? Like, be ready to, you don't have to crack open Das Kapital, but you need to be ready to defend that in a couple pithy sentences like Zoran and Abdul are able to do, because they're going to call you that anyway. So you need to plant that in your voters and your constituents' head. Hey, when they call me a socialist, it's not crazy. Like it sounds stupid for them to use that,
which
as
the
a
Democrats
pejorative.
have been running away from for 50 years longer, and especially in my lifetime, in just paying attention, right? Obama was called this, and ran. I'm not a socialist. I'm a capitalist. Come on, man. I love Jay-Z. Blah blah blah. But they're gonna call you that anyway. They called Biden a fucking socialist, a communist, like. And AOC was the first person to not run away. It was like, she went on those late night shows, and they said, "Are you a socialist?" She said, "Yes, I am, and this is what it means." And it means the things that Democrats have been advocating for publicly for my entire lifetime, her entire lifetime, but they just didn't actually care about it. They lied. They didn't give a fuck about gay rights. It was Joe Biden accidentally going on. He was on Meet the Press, and he accidentally said, "I don't care who gets married." And then they started asking Obama and Hillary Clinton and everybody else in the administration, and they were like, "Well, we don't want to look like we're behind Biden on this. I guess it's okay. We'll say it's okay." They never were going to fight for gay rights. They never did. It went to the Supreme Court. They were like, "I guess that's it. Settled. We did it."
I tell you what,
you didn't do shit.
If you want an activism community that's very underrated and that maybe doesn't get the credibility or recognition that it should, it is the LGBTQ plus community. Every interaction with them has been positive. They want constructive feedback. They're great. They're tremendous, competitors, and they got what they wanted by working really hard and staying really focused. So I have a tremendous amount of respect. It's a good example. But
it didn't have to do with the politicians in charge.
The one thing I will say is that Mamdani in that photo there, the guy that came to mind was Soup Nazi from Seinfeld.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
With
that actor,
legendary
definitely.
stash.
But anyway, speaking of more rhetoric, here's Abdul at the rally.
If you're somebody who wants government to work for you, I'm not dangerous. I might just be the one person running for U.S. Senate who actually wants to serve
Here
you.
might be that war rhetoric you're talking about.
But if you're the CEO of DTE, you damn well better believe I'm dangerous. If you're Blue Cross Blue Shield shareholders, yep, I'm dangerous. If you're a corporation wanting to buy a politician with their PAC, I'm dangerous. If you're APAC and want to send our money abroad, you damn well better believe I'm dangerous.
Good.
If you're Chuck Schumer and want to keep doling out corporate money to elect people who are going to do your bidding, I am so damn dangerous. But if you're somebody who wants government to work for you, I aim to be the best friend you ever had.
I mean, yes, Emily French, this was an amazing rally. I watched it on my stream the other day when it was live. That's some war rhetoric. Still friendly. Still, hey, I'm not. He's talking about dangerous. People call me dangerous. I'm your best friend. But for these people up there, yes, I'm dangerous. I think that's pretty good. I think it's a good.
Great. You got to talk to the enemies.
Balance.
That's one thing that I don't think is happening enough on, and is talking shit to the bully. I go on these.
Yes.
Some of these is you've got to get in the bully's face and dare him to hit you, because people don't do that. I talk about that a lot in my essays. Schoolyard politics. How do you beat the bully? You get in the bully's face. You talk shit to him. You say you're not going to push anybody around, and maybe he knocks you on your ass. Good chance if you're by yourself, he's going to knock you on his ass. But then what happens? Everybody sees it. You get back up and start talking shit again. He knocks you down again. Now we're going to get involved. This isn't right. Yeah. People see that you're standing up to the bully, and then you outdo the bully with the numbers. And so he's doing. Well, I'm just saying. It all starts though with talking at MAGA. Talk to the left, bring the left in, and say we can do better. We can do more.
These fucks.
We can do scale, but we gotta unite to get the right wing nut jobs out of the goddamn way. And that's the way you talk. You call them treasonous Trump trash terrorists. That's a big one. That's the one I coined. That makes a lot of people uncomfortable. White trash fascists. Like white trash fascists, even by itself. What's that?
Quadruple T. Treasonous Trump trash terrorists.
I'm big on alliteration. Yeah. Confederate flag waving, Bible beating gun nuts. If you get everybody to agree on that, it's like, because people always say, who are MAGA? Who are these people? How could you ever vote? That's who they are. They're waving their Confederate flag, or they're beating their Bible, or they're obsessed with their gun because their life actually sucks and they want to have power over others somehow, some way.
I would take a different approach, and it's the only reason why is because like Trump's base, which is 30%, of the Republican Party, they're not going to be moved. They're not going anywhere. But the thing is, like, the people who are just the people who are actually, I won't even call them independents. Let's call them first term Obama voters. Sure. People who are like first term Obama voters from Ohio, who will be like, yeah, I'll give this guy a shot. They're already pissed off at the Republican Party. So I think you get a guy like Abdul who will attack the mainstream Democratic Party. I think a what's the word I'm looking for? A secondary thing that happens there is you slice off Republican support. Not a ton, but enough that will drag you across the line. But the idea that you're putting across of just like get in the mud and roll with people at 100%. Like, and again, taking lessons from the right, we can thank Donald Trump for that. Yeah. Donald Trump he opened Pandora's box and gave everybody the permission to go after anybody. And they're trying, and so woke is dead. Like we're in woke 2.0. Like woke 1.0 is dark woke. Yeah, this idea that people, you're gonna like, what's her face running against Abdul, like, oh, don't make fun of her voice. Like, no, that's a put on voice. We're making fun of it. No, we don't care. Don't make fun of Lindsey Graham because he was gay. No. Well, it's not that he's gay. It's that he was a piece of trash who hated his own people. Hated his own community.
It's don't make fun of her voice because that's how she talks. It's make fun of the fact that you're putting on a voice.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
make the distinction.
That's the slight. Slight distinction. But and I get the spirit of dark woke and whatever.
You can get to that distinction.
That's how we got Plattner.
You can get to that distinction though by embracing, like, I think two standards. One is whatever hurts Republicans helps America. Just unilateral war. That's war rhetoric.
That's a good one.
Whatever hurts Republicans helps America, and then whatever silences baby boomer neoliberals also helps America. Like, it's time for them to get out of the goddamn way. It's like, I don't know if we've ever talked about it, Lumen, but my thesis of like all the racial resentment, all of the xenophobia, all of the negative emotional spaces that have to do with just devolving diversity into tribalism, right? Take that shit and put it on a generational context. And then I think that's actually an appropriate emotional position to be having when you look at the silent generation and baby boomers and what they've done since they've had power, starting in 1980 when they became the biggest voting bloc, and then continuing in 1992 with their first president in Bill Clinton. Like that, it all falls on them.
Here's my thing about that, and let's see if you agree, is that with that all exists. And as somebody, I get I'm really happy when I see like white allies who are just like really up in arms about racism and shit like that. And I'm like, good, you go for it. But me personally, at the end of the day, I don't care about what you think. I care about what you do. Sure. And this is why I think that the rise of the actual left, and, let's just call them the DSA, sewer socialists, whatever. We can take any kind of power in this country. Doesn't even have to be on a presidential. If Mondami can keep doing Mondami shit and keep providing for people, the most racist, bigoted, transphobic, homophobic person is going to want some of that. And at the end of the day, people who are satiated by having their material need, I don't mean satiated in a derogatory way, but satiated by having their material needs taken care of, they're not gonna fucking put up a fight. They're gonna be like, it's the Obama voter,
right?
Yeah,
I'm good now.
Shit about him. Yeah, exactly. to say, you know,
Now don't
what do you
fuck
think
anything
happened?
up.
Yeah, in Ohio, do you think like every Obama voter who like Ohio, like he just rolled through Ohio, like? Do you think they just up and left and that's how it's a red state now? No, they're still there. He failed them. And so now they're like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, but that person who they voted for was like, oh, well, I might not like black people, but goddamn, this guy says he's gonna make sure my union is strong. So
the racism of this country, it's inherent, right? But the racism and it's inherent in all of us, all across the world. White supremacy was a big fucking project. But most people's racism is what's in front of me. Am I satisfied with my fucking life? Am I satisfied with the amount I have versus my neighbor? Is my neighbor my same color? Are they a different color? It needs to be tackled. It is the root of evil. And attacking that, trying to fix that, trickles up. Like I was talking to Gina Bonanno, doing a show on Friday now with her, and I was like, you know, the right wing uses that metaphor of like, oh, the oppression Olympics, and who are we going to vote for? It's going to be a disabled, black, transgender, lesbian, who's a Muslim, who's an immigrant, right? If you actually make policy to make that person's life better, it trickles up. It helps everybody else who's above her in the oppression Olympics order,
social strata,
whatever. So yeah, actually, we should be catering policy to fix that mythical person's life, because then, unlike Chuck Schumer's made up people, the Baileys, you're actually improving people's lives based on a microcosm example.
Yeah, I was just having this. The right wing guy at my job, and we're talking about trans people, whatever. And he's just like, he's going back and forth, and I go, look. I go, I can tell you about how you're wrong for the next 30 minutes. I can bring up, medical data. I can bring up all this stuff. That's not going to change your mind. I said, but here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to concede all your points. I'm going to say everything you just told me about how, trans women aren't women and all this shit is 100% accurate. Just for the say, let's move past it. I go, now you have to tell me, now that I've done that, you're going to have to tell me what the fuck that has to do with you, me, and the price of gas.
Right.
Or why do you care about this? Or people telling you to care about this to distract you from the price of gas, from why your kids don't have health insurance, from why you're paying out the ass for daycare. Why do you give a fuck about any of this?
No. So you should
and
check out.
And it shut him up. It shut him up.
Well, you should check out my third essay, if you ever get inclined, called "The Right-Wing Magic Trick: How American Exceptionalism Became American Narcissism." And it's exactly that. It's magic is the art of distraction, and these culture war issues are distraction tactics. Some more prolific than the others, but yeah, I mean, gays and lesbians and trans people are always going to be gross to conservatives because they don't fucking know any of them. The first trans person I ever met was in a stand-up comedy class, and I'm like, talk about the perfect context to get to know someone, who's that
right.
who is that different from you. But that was another lesson that I learned in stand-up comedy is like, we do a lot of listening in those conversations. All I'm asking you to do is like that guy sounds really open-minded. I mean, I wish more conservatives would like actually ask those questions and even listen and even participate in that conversation. Most MAGA they don't even, it's just gross. Like move on to the next thing. Let's get upset about Charlie Kirk being assassinated.
You know what? That's the perfect segue because we're kind of talking about
Stephen Miller,
defining our enemies, and Stephen Miller and Marco Rubio the week before came out and did a whole fucking speech where they really defined their enemies. I'll never forget Stephen Miller saying, we know about these people that we want to get rid of, the predator, the junkie, the criminal, these archetypes that they could just paste whoever they want in. They're inviting you, the audience, to paste whoever comes to mind when he says the words predator, criminal, junkie into your brain and go, yeah, we got to go attack them. They're bad guys. Not your brother who got hooked on oxys because he broke his leg 20 years ago. Or your uncle who's a fucking predator because he's looking at your niece differently. Like the criminal, you, for pirating Netflix or whatever the fuck it is. These are the things that people aren't connecting their brain. They purposefully make it an outsider so that you don't know that they're coming for you too. This is him reinforcing that on Fox News, defining who they're coming after.
So ugly.
The Democrat Party.
Hang on, let me. Again, apologies to the audience for showing you his face and playing his voice.
Has embraced not only socialism, they've embraced communism. Straight up, outright, full-throated communism. They are now electing candidates who want to take private industry over, give it to the government, suspend the Constitution, abolish the Senate, abolish borders, abolish prisons, abolish jails, abolish the jury system, abolish our entire way of life. The contrast has never been more clear. There's President Trump, the Republican Party, and American First, or there are the crazy communist lunatics who will steal everything you know and love in this nation, and they will never, ever let you have it back.
Who are you talking to? Who is this for? No, say what you're going to say, because I had a whole thing planned on this, and I want to get this out.
Please.
Because I swear to God. No, go ahead. I want to like...
No. Go ahead.
Okay, here's my thing about this, because that's MSNBC and CNN. I can understand the liberal corporate media like fear mongering over the DSA. I get it. Fox and Newsmax and shit like that, and Sean Hannity and fucking all these on like Ben Shapiro. What the fuck are you whinging about? I don't understand it. Okay, so I'm just a big dumb sportsman, right? I'm just a dumb cishet sports guy, right? I watched the New Orleans Saints are my football team. If the New Orleans Saints were playing the Jets and the Jets kept coming to the line with too many men over and over again, so the Saints just kept walking it down the field on 5-yard penalties, what am I complaining about? Why should the Saints head coach go give the Jets head coach advice on how to play football? What are they scared of? Because if
they know it's the real popular.
That's what I'm saying. If this is all true, and you're saying that the commies have taken over the Democratic Party and we're going to turn into the dictatorship or the proletariat and all this shit, you should be dancing a jig. You should be excited about this. Why do you look so scared? Because obviously you on Fox News, the Republican Party, the GOP, and conservative ideas are held in the highest esteem, are held in paramount. So the Republican Party now will win every single election from dog catcher to president into perpetuity until the sun explodes. What are you crying about? Unless
he doesn't believe.
Unless you know it's bullshit. You know what you're saying is bullshit, and this is what people actually want.
Bro,
I just don't understand.
Even Steven himself is going, it's not just social. He said just socialism. What? I'm going to stop you right there, Steven. What do you mean just socialism? I thought you were scaremongering about socialism for 40 goddamn years. You mean it's not just socialism? Just socialism? Just socialism? It's communism.
There's also...
What if we use another word that we think is scary to people? It's not. It's not. AOC in that clip is like, people have all kinds of ideologies.
If Stephen Miller and the rest of Fox News feels they have to convince their audience of this, we're way ahead of the game than I thought we ever were.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, we are.
Goddamn.
Well, I think we are. The only other angle I would ask for that conversation is there is still an implicit cultural assumption within baby boomer and silent generation politically active people, and that is bipartisanship, and that there should be some bipartisanship even on the Republican side. Like the Fox News people think that like there should be some bipartisanship on some level in our government.
You know what we're getting at?
Well, that gives the game away to the party then.
Yeah,
Wakanda and Massey.
Yeah,
Wakanda
absolutely.
and Massey are doing it.
But that's usually not. That's the to release the Epstein files. We don't want to talk about that.
No, I know.
But if they're saying on Fox News and Newsmax that they need a strong Democratic Party to 86 the actual left wing, then you're just confirming the uniparty is.
But they did it.
That's
they
right.
did it. They endorsed fucking Cuomo.
Yes, Lumen.
It's over.
You're taking the second step of analysis that no one. That normies
That's what I'm saying.
don't
No
take.
one is saying this.
You just have to think of. That's what I say about that's what I say about the political junkies like us, where it's not that we're brilliant. We just think about this stuff a lot, and if you think about it, and you research it, and you do your goddamn homework, and you study history, particularly the last 45 years, all this shit is obvious. All this shit is obvious.
Again, like the work conversations I have that just drive me at the wall. That's how, like, this reminds me of. I heard some people, guys at my work, talking about, the Democrats stole the election, the governor's election in California, and it's from Mr. Pratt. I'm like, excuse me. So you're saying that the Democratic Party stole the election to make sure the socialist won? That's what you're trying to make it make fucking sense. Did you think about this for 2 seconds before you let it leave your mouth?
No,
it doesn't.
It
doesn't make sense,
and they repeat it. That's it.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thought process of people who are like, well, obviously, Biden won because the election was stolen while Trump was president, but they couldn't steal the election that he won for some reason. When Biden was president, they couldn't steal that election. What are we talking about?
I mean, look,
it's just
Emily
like critical
French makes a
thinking.
good point.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I interrupt way too much.
No, you're
but the political boundaries are dissolving, and that's what I mean. Like the normies, the first term Obama voters that you're talking about in Ohio, they also don't like the duopoly, but they do like bipartisanship for whatever reason. It makes them feel good. Oh, people of different beliefs can work together for a common good. It's part of the myth of this country anyway. Fine. And for most of those people, seeing Massey and Ro Khanna work on the Epstein files together, that's good enough for them. And that pisses off the establishment of both parties. The Republicans hate that because they're in the Epstein files. Chuck Schumer and them hate it because Clinton's in the Epstein files. That's why Biden didn't go after it during his 4 fucking years. It's a bipartisanship for interests of the actual people. They want these fucking pedophile elites to go to fucking prison or to at least be exposed so we can extradite them from polite society. That's what this bipartisan group is doing. Hell, Marjorie Taylor Greene put out the amendment that AOC didn't vote for, Ilhan and Rashida did vote for. That was as cynical as it might have been from her perspective of Trump spurned me, so I'm going to introduce this amendment that I know is not going to go through. It was still a sign of like, hey, we can all work towards this common goal of defeating or at least stopping funding for this evil that we keep seeing on our fucking phones, defining our fucking enemies that are bigger than the two parties. I think this is a good clip because this is where I believe they're trying to define Antifa because, again, they're going to be designated a terrorist organization. Mm-hmm. And let's just listen to them try to do that.
What I know about Antifa is that it doesn't really exist. And you just named Antifa Ost. I was wondering, is it that a different group or what is the intelligence that the US has that Antifa does exist?
Yeah, well, we have those designations. They're designations on the basis of our statutes, on the basis of violent acts that members of those groups committed. By the way, I think they're all also designated as terrorist groups by countries in Europe. And so the other thing about this is I mean, basically a foreign terrorist organization, we have to have there's 3 components. It has to be foreign, has to be terrorist, has to be an organization. And all 4 of these groups met that test. And we see this as something that will keep America safe and secure. And we're looking at actively at more designations.
Yeah, again, they can't define Antifa. They are speedily, because this is Stephen Miller's idea, speedily trying to designate people terrorists so they could just lock them up.
Shut them up.
You're anti-American. You're protesting outside a data center. You're anti-American terrorist going to jail. You're advocating for LGBTQ rights. You have a fucking rainbow sticker in your shop front. guess what? Your business license is revoked and you're anti-American. Like, it is just a bullying tactic. We'll label you, Disney, an anti-American organization if you make this movie that we
go
don't
the DSA.
like.
They can go after the
The
DSA.
DSA,
DSA
they
an Antifa
literally
organization.
are going after the DSA.
That'll be when the rubber meets the road. I think that might happen. Hey, fellas, always good to see. I'm just gonna bounce out real quick.
I got you.
But it's
All right.
it's great to see you, Lumen.
See you, man.
All right, guys.
I
I'm gonna
mean,
shut this down.
in a very, you're talking about Disney, I think in a very fairy tale way,